Okay, for the TRS, the main part you have to think that whole concept to take shelter, go to an anchorage, that is though officially in the books it is not still changed, but nowadays it is not a recommended action anymore. If you are there, have you seen any reports where three ships in 2007 or 8, two got grounded off Japan due to the typhoon, and one was nearly grounded off Japan Strait, that between Korea and Japan, that space, because of the typhoon, because of the late action taken by the master. So it is nowadays it is advisable that you take early action and seek for the open water wherever possible. What happens for any TRS, like here, so if this is the pattern of the TRS in the northern hemisphere, okay, like this, anti-clockwise pattern, that is the wind pattern of the northern. So now I am placing my chart, and you can see it here. I placed it with, like, this is, if I place it northern, so this is my 20 degrees north, so this is 30 degrees north, and say here ten degrees north. So this is 10, this is 20, and this is 30. Generally, your TRS, which the area coverage, it depends on what sort of category. Nowadays they specify with a category, especially the Americans. Japan, they have not stated like the category, but you may have heard Hurricane Katrina, category 5. So category 5 is the highest scale of any of the TRS, any of the tropical evolving storm. But in your questions, generally they give you how much is the wind speed expected to be. So I didn't bring that chart, that how much the wind skill normally they refer to. But for your question, generally it comes up to category 3 to category 5 level, means it is somewhere starting with 70 miles per hour to 120 miles per hour, that sort of speed. So 70 miles you can take it as say category 3 level, and then 90 miles per hour, and then the 120 or 130 miles per hour speed, that is the highest level, which can cause devastating effect to the sea, means to the ship as well as to the land. The faster the TRS moves, the swell pattern which it develops, it is farther behind. The slower it is, the swell pattern is almost following it. So if the storm is moving first, remember that there is a swell pattern, and which may be following it nearly about 100 or 150 miles, depends on what speed it is moving. So that this is the swell center I am talking about, and as it recurve by say about 25 degrees approximate, and then it follows, then as it moves towards northeast, so the swell pattern also moves, and depends on how fast. Now once it is becoming extratropical, it moves very fast. So the swell pattern is slowly getting apart, and then it is also decaying slowly, the swell pattern, because that much wind pressure is not causing any effect to this. If you have theoretically say 16 knot ship, which you may have, theoretically you have 16 knots, but when you have say 5 meter swell or above, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which the further it is, say if it is 5 knot, 5 meter swell, your speed from the 16 knots, it may drop down to 12 knots. 7 meters, roughly, it may drop down to 7-8 knots. 8 meters swell, you may be doing only 2 knots, or maybe you may be going astern. So that is speed, what is there in your question or in your life, whatever it will be. You have to remember that that speed at that time, if you are close to the storm center, you will not have that speed anymore with you. That means your movement, your area coverage will be very much restricted unless you have taken sufficient action much earlier. That is the main goal of avoiding the TRS. So your main aim is to be avoiding a TRS. Depends on how much speed it has got, but thumb rule, avoid it by 200 miles.
200 miles?
Minimum. 200 to 300. If it is category 5, 300 miles. So it depends on like what speed they are giving it to you. Thumb rule is at least by 200 miles. So then by whatever action you are taking it, you should be aiming it to avoid it by 200 miles. Now how to avoid that? Okay, so now I'm giving you some pattern, some example. Say your TRS is developed somewhere here. Can you see that? Say in 15 degrees. And where did I keep my ship? And you can look at it. Your ship is, say, so small. Can you see the ship? So your ship is so tiny. That depends on how much radius it is covering. Now look at here. This is from 10 to 20. How many miles in this direction? 600 miles. So this pattern is nearly covering, say, 400 miles. Very big storm. Now, I'm giving you some example of how to decide whether it is veering or backing. Sometimes it is confusing. So what I would suggest, even in the exam hall, maybe one of the corner of your exam script or your data sheet, you just draw this pattern of the hemisphere which you are in, and then rotate that page along the track of that chartlet if it is given. Try to make construct like this. How you can make it this? Make the isobars, and then in the northern hemisphere it is going to be anti-clockwise, and if it is southern hemisphere it is clockwise. So you can make that one. Then I'm just giving you one more example. So look at here, this shape, say this shape is stationary. Traditionally, or say by pattern, wind pattern, the TRS in the northern hemisphere, it moves somewhat northwesterly initially, then somewhere here it recurves, then follows this track. So this is the normal expected track of this, but it may move that direction or it may not. So if it is asking for what is the expected track and then what is the alternative tracks. So first I'll go for the expected track itself. Now look at here, if the storm is centered here right now, the ship, say the ship is stationary, so don't look at the heading of the ship. Just think that ship is there and how, in which direction the wind is coming to that ship. Say here, now which direction the wind is coming from? Northeast. Ship is still there, the storm is moving. The which direction the wind is coming from?
Northeast.
It is south by east. Look at here. It is now southeast. Is the wind veering or backing? Veering. So that means you are in the dangerous semicircle. You do not need to remember it. It comes out from this plotting. So if you are in a dangerous semicircle, so if the wind is veering, it is in the dangerous semicircle, then what you should do? You should take the wind on the bow. So if you then look at here, then what you should do? You should head so then you can take the wind on the starboard bow. Look at here, starboard bow, and as the storm moves, so then you alter, and when you are here, you take the wind on the starboard bow. So then as the wind veers, you take the wind on the starboard bow. So how your pattern is there? You are escaping from like this direction. Possibly you have gone through this, but I'm showing you this example so then it relates to how you can tackle it in the exam time even. Can I show you how it is backing? Say, for example, it is the ship is there, just heave to, just waiting. It cannot move at the moment for some reason, so it's stationary. So now it is receiving the wind. It is getting the wind from northwest. As the TRS moves, the wind is coming from north by west. Further, how the wind is coming from? Say from south, say west southwest, west southwest. So now how the wind is turning? It is backing. So now it is anti-clockwise. So the wind of that particular place, the wind direction is changing, and that is backing. And if the wind is backing, you are in a navigable semicircle. So how to tackle that then? Then when the wind was there, then you should bring the wind to the starboard quarter, and as the wind changes, bring it to starboard quarter. As the wind direction change, bring it to starboard quarter. So your pattern will be something like that. The storm is moving that direction, so then you are escaping below that the lower latitude. That is, if the wind is, if you are in a navigable semicircle. Alright, so far, so to identify that whether you are in a veering, in the dangerous or not. So this, and the southern semicircle will be opposite way. So now I'll show you that how to plot it and how to track it. So for any storm, if it is given to you like this pattern where the path is say 315 and your speed is given, say it is moving at 10 knots. So the storm is expected to move in that direction until how many hours? You've got no clue, until you receive the next forecast. Generally, the recent forecast pattern is every 6 hours. They give you the forecast for the every 6 hours. But in a question paper, it may not be. It may give you the 24 hours before or 12 hours before, or it may not give anything. So I would suggest that you do a 12-hour pattern. So if it is given you, so now if it is a 315 degrees pattern, so then you, if it is 10 knots, 12 hour, how many miles it will go? So 120. 120 is about say 1/5 of that. So it is expected to move somewhere here in the 12 hours. So in the 12 hours, so if you have drawn the track, then 40 degrees on either side. Take a perpendicular distance. With that radius, draw a circle. So after 12 hours, this storm could be here, could be here, could be here. So it is not that it is going to be in the center of that circle. So that is the problem with this TRS decision making, how it is going to be. Now if I project from the previous position, if I project for further 12 hours and we do not have any forecast given at this time, then from this position another, say if it is target is here, then it is say 40 degrees and 40 degrees, but this 40 degree, but we do not have any focused report here for this position, so you should parallel it from here and then if it is given say after 24 hours, 12 hours, sorry, 12 hours it is reaching there, and as we have seen the earlier report was here and we could be anywhere, so we have to not this one, so we have to plot it somewhere and our radius is this, so that after 24 hours the storm could be anywhere of this.
Can you just do that step for me? The next one.
The next one. Next one is say if only one position has been given to you and there is no further focus, no further report to you, after 12 hours you can expect the storm is there anywhere, and as there is no report here and you are expecting to construct another plotting for further 12 hours, so you proceed for 12 hours, but then you actually going to make a perpendicular of from here, from this position, draw a 40 degrees parallel from this, from here, parallel to the 40 degrees from this center, then draw a perpendicular, that is the radius. So after 24 hours storm could be anywhere of this,
Perpendicular with the initial that you have.
from this point somewhere which is there, from this point we are drawing it, so it could be the same one. Then if you have any report at this time and it is saying now the storm is moving say 350 at 15 knots, so then you have got a report here, then you draw 350, which you have the report here and it is forecast to be moving at 350 and 15 knots. From here then you draw 40 degrees on this side, 40 degrees on this side, and after 12 hours perpendicular here, perpendicular there, so it is expected to be here if provided that you had this report here. Say for argument's sake your position was given something not on that center track, and after 24 hours they have told you the storm is now here. So now after 24 hours and the report is saying again it is 350 and 15 knots, but it is the position is still, it is south of the original tracked position, so then it is saying 350, 40 degrees, 40 degrees, and say 12 hours. So this could be anywhere here after 12 hours. Now you have to see where you are, where is the ship, and are you in a position of at the recover stage or not. So roughly if we follow this track, our track is expected to be somewhere say from here so then you can see that this track pattern is getting wider and wider. So there is all the uncertainties resides, that you are not sure that which way actually it is going to come and hit you. Okay, I bring the ship here now. Say if the ship is here and it is in the northern hemisphere, anti-clockwise wind pattern. Say your ship is there now, say 400 miles away, and in this in this side. So this side we have found this is the dangerous semicircle, and if it is expected, so if the storm is expected to come and your course is going to be like this, that is you are traveling, then your prudent action would be, because now you can see as the ship is moving, by the time the swell pattern is here, swell pattern is here somewhere following it, but as the ship is ahead of, so it is getting the maximum wind, but it is not affected much by the swell at the moment. By the time it is there, it is nearly colliding or it is getting closer. So definitely this action is not good at all. So we have seen that from here you should take the wind on the starboard bow, and provided you are in a pattern of that. Sometimes the position is given such a way that you are still not in a pattern, you are still far away. So for instance, still you are not in this pattern of this wind, so you may not get that wind of veering or anything. You see that okay, still there is a possibility.
Sir, how many miles you should take the pattern, or how much distance you should consider the pattern?
You have to look for, so if you are here, that if your course takes you to a closer of this 200 miles, now as you have drawn this pattern, so now look at here, after 24 hours, say your position was there, this is your position, storm is here, now calculate how many miles it is. So now if it is 400 miles and you do not want to get close to 200 to 250 miles, after 12 hours what happens? The storm is expected to be here. After 12 hours at your maximum speed, where do you go? So after 12 hours you are reaching somewhere here, that is here, storm is here. Now how far is the distance? Is it acceptable? Is it 200 or less or more? So then if you see, oh, it is getting very close and very tight, that means I cannot go by this way. Right? So that is you deciding at, so then I will not go at that stage even. From here only I will try to go away from the storm, and at this northern hemisphere storm is expected to move in this direction, so I will take my ship further out. At this level in the 15 degrees, not expected to move northerly, not expected, but it may, it will move as we make the projection, and on that it will be somewhere there for the next 12 hours, next 24 hours in that, and then we'll definitely receive another forecast which will say what is the next pattern of the TRS track, and from there then again we project our the TRS track, and then on that track we will see where the ship is going to be in another 6 hours, another 12 hours, depending on how much scale they give you. It may be, sometime it may be, because the question maybe is giving you a very small scale, so then it may be working for 24 hours. That in 24 hours you have to see how much it is. When you're getting closer, and remember when you are getting closer, okay, take it as the worst scenario, that how fast you're getting close, but when you're taking it this action for the avoiding action, you take also the worst case scenario, that your speed will not be as fast as what you have at your disposal, so it will be much reduced. So then if it is getting closer, and if you're in the wind pattern, and if your speed is drastically reduced, then how you can avoid the storm from its worst situation. So then in that case you have to take much earlier decision to go away.
In this case, wouldn't it be better had we gone west instead of going towards east? Because if the storm recurves again, we'll be in the semicircle.
Right, okay, that is a good question. So from here, another alternative is to go to the west. Right? That is there. Fine. This is say alternative action. Now in this case, for here 15 degrees, it is expected, the general pattern of the TRS is moving towards the north until it is reaching somewhere to the 20 degrees north. Between 20 to 25 it recurves. So for that it is expected to be moving in that direction. So now for you, if you continue doing that, and if you proceed, then if it is not recovered and continue on that, actually you are trying to get it closer, then after maybe 12 hours then you have to decide, oh no, it was a wrong decision, so then now I go northerly, because now I can see it is coming on my way, I am getting closer. So it depends on how you justify your action. Final outcome is that you have to justify that you have taken sufficient action in time, and even if you have taken, say, you can check for 2-3 alternatives. Say one alternative is this direction, another alternative is going to this direction, and definitely crossing the TRS path is not a good decision at all in this situation, or it could be in this situation. So these are the 3 alternatives. Then you can see which one is taking you to a better position where you have got more serum, and anytime the TRS changes, the direction changes, the speed changes, still you have got room to run around, and you are definitely not landlocked by any pattern, by any of the land. So stay away from the land. If there is any, say, coast is given, so this is the coast, and if you're there, definitely do not get yourself trapped between the land and the TRS. That is the worst case scenario it could be for you. Any
So
questions?
The 3 patterns you showed, just move away from that. Why second one is there and third one is talking about?
I'm just thinking of alternative routes. So
But
first
if
one I've
you
showed
go
you.
that way TRS is following you, no?
Right, definitely. So then that means 2 and 3 is not. I'm just showing you the alternatives.
Alternatives.
Alternative. Then if I think, like say, what could be my choice? Can I cross? No, that will be the worst case. So now I'm not going to cross the TRS at this situation. So now, is number 1 suitable? Okay, fine. Do I have any alternative? Yes, I can go to 2 in that direction. Go there because it may be recurving here. Maybe. We do not know. So that is alternative 2 and alternative 3. Now out of that 3 option, which one is the best? Then you think which one will take you out of the storm area and where you are not trapped between the land and the storm itself. Because then your serum will be, yeah.
No, sir, yeah.
Yes.
I'm saying that if the TRS is falling, and you said that after 24 hours or something you get a weather forecast that it's going to move to 350, then you plot another one. In case from the start only they've just given the TRS course and a particular speed or something, so you just plot the radius, so just it becomes wider and wider. How far you go wider and wider, just keep on going.
If
how
you,
have to
yeah,
drop out.
if you do not have any further forecast,
Yeah.
then you will just go wider and wider and wider. So then you will
keep plotting till
yeah,
how much
you
they have
keep
asked
plotting
for.
and you just stay away from that circle,
Okay.
because that is a storm position. That circle is actually the probable position of the storm. So that is the probable sector. There is a isn't it probability sector? That is the area where the storm will be. But if the storm is centered here, it has got another radius of 120, 200 miles radius of that. So it is not only, we are not talking about the center of the storm, we are also talking about how much it is occupying the area. If the storm is somewhere here, then it is occupying somewhere this area, and definitely you do not want to be within that area, not even close to the center. So then you try to stay away from that radius of that wind pattern or the system of the theory itself. So you want to stay away from that. So which direction will take you to further from that? Even it is away, say if the ship is there coming from that position and there 2 days away, 700 or say 900 miles away scenario. Say it is now there, you are heading for, and your course is taking you to a course like this, and you want to reach somewhere in the south here, and the storm is now here 900 miles away. Then what should you do? Do you continue, come and watch, getting closer, come and watch, getting here, or you want to keep your fuel saved and wait there and see it? It is how you justify your action, which will you're trying to stay away. For your exam part, definitely you try to do that you want to stay away from that storm. If you want to heave to, wait there, so you don't want to burn fuel, so then you can say that okay, I am still away, but still it is taking me to a position which I'll get trapped between the land and the storm, which is not a suitable action for me. So I will at the initially I may heave to and wait. Heave to means you just stop and just drift, but do not go anywhere. You do not start going because still you are 900 miles away. So you can expect some change in the pattern. And the question further did not say anything like how much it is changed. So it is there. And then if you're there, then after 48 hours the storm is say near here, and you're still waiting there. So now you need to take some action. So you have got option of going this, going that. These three options. So then you will see that how. But again, so now look at here. At this, which latitude it is? 25. So if it is 25, it is a tendency of the TRS to recurve and follow northeasterly direction. So that option is not that good option anymore of this latitude here. And coming here also you are trying to take it closer. It may, because if the storm is moving northerly, you are trying to get it closer. So in this case, this would be a better option provided you are sufficiently off. If you are not, initially you may go towards that direction and then go to east.
So you can head northerly directly, no, because the TRS.
But then how far? Then you have to say it. How far? Then where? Eventually you have to say it. It is not that end there at the initially you take the action and what else? How you want to reach to your next spot? Also, then you have to explain.
Because if you say that you're going to head northerly, because the TRS tendency is going to go northeasterly.
Okay.
So yeah, anyways, if it goes northeasterly, you're going to be in the navigable semicircle after it recurves.
Right. So it is recurve. Okay. Now look at here. Look at here. Ship is there. You want to go to north, and it is recurving. Here it is recurving. It is recurving. Now what? How far you are close? Where is the land? Land is here. Look at here. Land. You are very close to here now. And it is TRS is very close to here. Okay, it is recovering, but you are getting now the full blow of the storm. Is it safe?
You just plot your position and see how
so it is various situation it could be. I am just giving you a few examples.
Give and justify your answer.
Justify by that. So the bottom line is.
Like in 3 days you could have taken that action. That would have been okay, I think.
Bottom line is that whatever action you take it sufficiently off so that at any position, at any time, your ship is not closer to 200 miles of the storm center. That is the main point. Do not get locked by the land. Stay away from the land. Then if you need to if you need to stop and wait and see, you can do that for some time. If it is not in that sort of situation, then you can take evasive action and you can go to the opposite direction altogether. But eventually you have to say it, okay, once I am sufficiently off, then I'll continuously monitor the track, and then I shall avoid it by 200 to 250 miles off. Then I'll change my course and alter and head for the next port. Eventually you have to say that because you are going somewhere, and at what stage you are going to take that action. So at the bottom you have to say that.
You mentioned about your speed also, because if it's 900 miles off and they say that you're going to your ship is doing 15 knots.
Right.
So you plot according to 15 knots.
Initially, yes, definitely.
Initially.
Yes,
but
yes.
You can say that as per the currents or whatever, the speed might be reduced also. So that's why you would like to go to northerly, take action before and go northerly and then move.
Don't bring the current here because the current will not have much influence at this moment unless it is very strong, like the somewhere it is Croatia or say Gulf Stream, which is there 4 or 5 knots. Except that the current is not going to be. It is mainly the wind and the swell and the sea condition that is going to reduce speed drastically.
That's because of the TRS, what is going to reduce your speed.
Right.
Just take that into account.
Right.
The rest, otherwise you just take your what speed they've given you and just
Right.
plot according to that.
So then if you are getting closer, then that time you take the worst case that you are getting faster. But when you are getting away, you are trying to avoid it. Take it to the worst case that you do not have that much speed to speed up. Your engine is not coping up with that wind condition, sea condition to give you that much of speed. So the chief engineer is definitely going to reduce the RPM, and the swell pattern also will cause you, and the sea condition also will cause you the speed to drop down. That is what it happens in the rough seas. The chief engineer says, okay, the governor is not taking that much of load because it is pitching so much, and the propeller comes out, and then he do not want to take the risk of seizing the propeller. And definitely as a master you also do not want that to happen, You want the propeller to be running, but then you want to keep the propeller underwater. And for that, to avoid that severe condition of the sea condition, so then you need to take evasive action much earlier. So then you stay. Okay, you may get some wind, but you should not get speed reduced drastically. And if you have got the option, if you do not have the option, like here, if it is given that your ship is there and you are there, and then say your storm is here, this would be a tricky one. Then you are there nearly at the path, because how do you know it is on the path? Look at here, I'm showing it here. So on the path means what is the wind direction? Steady. Now did you see how it can happen? So if you can draw this circle in the exam time also, it will help you to decide how it is. Did you see that how it can happen, that wind pattern same? Now even if it is here, then if the storm goes this direction, see the wind condition, wind pattern, you are facing the same direction wind. So if the wind direction is same, that means you are on the path. And if you are on the path there, like here, if you are there, then you do not put yourself again into the dangerous semicircle. And what is the navigable semicircle in this condition? So this is the first option you can. Second option, and definitely it is taking you to a dangerous semicircle and to the path if it recurves. So then that condition is not there. So now with your speed at this here, and definitely you do not want to wait for the storm to come up and catch you up. So in this situation, if you're there, it would be prudent that you take your best speed and proceed away. And then if you're not in a wind pattern, say if you're not in the wind pattern of that, say you are 400 miles away, and then take your best speed and get yourself off away from the storm. Alright, so now how you can project that? So if your storm is given here and then it is expected to move this direction, so your storm is here, so after, say if your ship is there, after 12 hours where the storm is going to be, so draw that arc and say storm is expected to be here after 12 hours. If your track is there, after 12 hours you are expected to be on this. You do not need a circle because you are following a track. So you expect it to be here. So you are still far away. Then further 12 hours. Somewhere here. So for the 12 hours, say you are here, and by this latitude it is 20 degrees, still it is expected to move in this direction. So for the 12 hours it is expected to be in this direction. So now by this time you have reached here, another 12 hours. Somewhere here, and by this time if you have reached here, then see 5 position 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Okay, now this is the fourth position. The fourth position is still here. So then further if it is there, by the time it is covering more area, more, because it's still you do not know how much it is. So then by the time you are here. Look at the marks, look how much time you have. So if you are constrained, I think for your exam purpose you can project it for 24 hours each. That will be better. I'm showing you 12 hours basis just to get the better idea, but for the exam purpose I think you can go for 24 hours basis. So each 24 hours where it will be, and then further you get closer, reduce speed of your ship, so then you see that okay, you do not get into that position. And also you can say it after say if it is this position it starts, you would expect it this pattern is like this. But if it is somewhere here, then you can say, okay, now the wind pattern is expected to be, sorry, the TRS pattern may move in this direction. So my expected position would be somewhere here. So in that case, if you are further away, then you are not in the pattern of the storm. So that is how you project the TRS and project your ship position. So see that each 24 hours you can start with, and if there is at the later on, then you can adjust that how much is that distance is going to be covered and where you are. Are you within that pattern? Between 200 to 250 miles. That should be your aim to avoid the TRS and stay yourself safe. Okay, any question?
Is there any possibility can we take shelter from land or port? And
That is I started at the beginning. If you remember, there is a basic thing. It was there suggested that you take shelter, but so far I can suggest you of my experience why it was there. When those Stanton and other seamanship books had been made, Monroe's, they did not even think of 400-meter long ship. How much was the size of that ship those times? It was all wooden ships, and it was could be 50 meters, 60 meter long, those, and definitely they cannot sustain this 10-meter long swell. 10-meter swell, they will not be able to sustain that. Definitely they will sink because the wind and swell and that will come up. So for them it is essential to take shelter. And if you take shelter with those small ships, then even your drag and the resistance, whatever is there in that sea condition, that will be much lesser effect than what if you have got 200 meter, 250 meter, even 150 meter long ship. It will be on these ships, the drag effect by the wind will be much bigger, and your sea room is getting restricted, your maneuverability and that maneuvering circle will be getting restricted. So now if you go take a ship, 250 meter long ship, and load it or maybe partially load whichever, the ships are big and depends on how much speed at your disposal. If you go to a shelter, it is not only you there, it is there hundreds of the other small craft around you, then where do you run them? I have been in few, unfortunately I have been in few of the TRS situation, and I wish that no one should be there in the TRS.